Hello, and welcome to Atinuke Tales. My name is Auntie Angie, and today I'll be reading a book about Africa. It's called Africa, Amazing Africa, and it's written by Atinuke and illustrated by Mooney Fedag. Did you know that the first human beings to walk this earth were Africans? They went on to populate the whole planet. So, we are all from Africa originally. Did you know that Africa is gigantic? It is as big as Europe, the USA, Mexico, India, and Japan all put together. Did you know that no one can decide on the official number of countries in Africa? This is because there are countries that are still unofficial. These are new countries that are struggling to become independent from old countries. Did you know that in each modern African country, many different languages are spoken? This is because African countries are made up of lots of ancient African kingdoms. Those original kingdoms all had their own languages and customs that still exist. Africa is not one place. It has at least 55 different countries, and each country has many different cultures, different histories, and lots of different landscapes. African countries must be the most diverse on the planet. Africa is hot, blinding deserts, wild, wet deltas, dark, dripping rainforests, white, sandy beaches, flat, grassy savanna, cold, snowy mountains, black volcano islands, deep blue oceans, and more. Africa is modern, mega cities with skyscrapers and motorways. And Africa is ancient cities of clay with mosques and libraries. Africa is villages of huts with goats and chickens. And Africa is shanty towns made out of cardboard and corrugated iron. Africa is donkeys and diamonds, camels and Coca-Cola, lions and Lamborghinis, oil rigs and armies, football and voodoo, and more. Africa is people, more than 1 billion people when this book was written. Almost half the people on the continent are young people. Africa is also animals, thousands of incredible animals that are quickly becoming extinct. These animals were hunted for millennia by hunter-gathering people who never threatened their existence. It is our modern lifestyle that are wiping them out. Climate change is changing the landscape and culture and lifestyle of both animals and people. And so is the modern technological age that is taking over the world. Some African countries are incredibly modern, with cutting-edge hospitals and cyber cities and fancy sports cars. Other countries are old-fashioned, with people herding camels and goats. Africa has always been a mixture of ancient traditions and innovations. Africa had the first university in the world more than 200 years before Europe, and centers of learning thrived there more than 1,000 years before that. It was in Africa that medicine, engineering, maths, and astronomy were all developed. African scholars knew that the earth was round and circled the sun centuries before European scholars did. The first alphabets were invented in Africa, as well as the idea of counting in tens. Today, inventors from African countries are making discoveries in medicine, robotics, software engineering, sustainable technology, banking, and more. The world has a lot to thank Africa for. Southern Africa is made up of Angola, Botswana, Lesotho, Malawi, Mozambique, Namibia, South Africa, Swaziland, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. Southern Africa has long white beaches on the Indian and Atlantic Ocean, where people swim with whales and dolphins. Southern Africa has wide open savannas, where giraffes, zebras, and rhinos roam, and hunters used to stalk them. Southern Africa has the oldest deserts in the world, where over millions of years the antelopes, elephants, lions, and humans have learned to live. Southern Africa has some of the most modern cities in the world, with big banks, cutting-edge hospitals, huge museums, and crazy nightclubs. Most Southern Africans have African ancestors, but some have ancestors from Europe or India. So, just like in America and Britain, there are black and white and Asian Southern Africans and tons of mixed heritage people as well. East Africa is made of Comoros, Djibouti, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Kenya, Madagascar, Mauritius, Rwanda, Seychelles, Somalia, South Sudan, Sudan, Tanzania, and Uganda. East Africa is famous for its huge savanna, where Africa's most popular animals live. The elephants, lions, giraffes, zebras, and lots more. Out of those savanna rise Africa's tallest mountains, and there you will find its deepest lakes and most powerful waterfalls. East Africa is the part of Africa closest to Asia. For more than 1,000 years, ships have come across the Indian Ocean from Asia, bringing tea, spices, silk, and gunpowder to swap for East African ebony, ivory, gold, salt, and labor. The Arab nations were always involved in the trade. After centuries of doing business together, the East African language of Swahili has lots of Asian and Arabic words. The Swahili city-states were thriving hundreds of years before Europe knew Africa existed. Swahili is still the most important language in East Africa, and East Africa is still a melting pot of many different continents, cultures, traditions, and religions. West Africa is made of Benin, Burkina Faso, Cabo Verde, Cote d'Ivoire, the Gambia, Ghana, Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, Liberia, Mali, Niger, Nigeria, Senegal, Sierra Leone, and Togo. In the north of West Africa lies the Sahara Desert, and in the south are windy beaches of the Atlantic Ocean. And in between is the starry Sahel, where the desert meets the grassy savanna. The savanna merges into dark rainforest which melts into the wet mangrove swamp. The busy, crowded cities rock to the rhythms of high life and hip hop because whether they are blue-eyed desert nomads or dark black city dwellers, West Africans love music. Wherever you go, men wear long flowing embroidered robes over loose baggy trousers when they're not wearing blue jeans. Once camels carried West African gold across the Sahara to the Middle East, and some of the world's first universities were founded in the region. Now, West Africa sells diamonds and oil via container ships, and highly educated West African doctors, lawyers, and engineers work all over the world. The second biggest rainforest in the world covers Central Africa. It is loud with monkeys, parrots, and trillions of insects, but it might not be there for long. Elephants and hippos evolved to make it home by becoming smaller, and so did humans. The rainforest people were the first people to live in Central Africa. They lived singing in the forest and hunting with spears and arrows. Then came those whose lifestyle now threatened the rainforest. The farmers from West Africa who cleared the forest for their farms. Nomadic herdsmen from East Africa with cattle and goats that eat young trees. And European greedy for oil, timber, mines, and plantations. Some Central Africans have kept traditional lifestyle, and others have chosen modern lives. But whether they're billionaires or beggars, oil rig workers or hunters, Central Africa is home to them all. North Africa is made of Algeria, Egypt, Libya, Mauritania, Morocco, Tunisia, and Western Sahara. North Africa is desert country, and the desert is called the Sahara. It is harder to cross than the Mediterranean Sea. This means North African customs and traditions have more in common with the Middle East and Europe than with the rest of Africa. And that's because for millennia, the Middle East and Europe were easier to get to. The Roman, Greeks, and Turks all conquered North Africa and made it part of their empire. And then Morocco conquered Southern Europe and made it part of their huge North African empire until the 19th century. North Africans took slaves from countries as far north as Iceland, and the few North Africans who did manage to cross the Sahara before the days of planes were nomadic Berber merchants, the original North African people. With their long lines of camels carrying salt and gold. Wherever they stopped, people came to buy and sell goods. Those trading places became huge markets, and those markets became the great North African cities of today. You can still buy anything there, from a computer chip to a fossil the size of a car. And in fact, it is said that if you cannot buy something in the markets of North Africa, then you cannot buy anywhere in the world. Football is best. The African continent is crazy about football. It was played here long before the international rules of the game were decided in 1860. Some people in Africa like wrestling and boxing. Other people like canoeing and basketball. Some are fans of cricket and rugby, but everybody is passionate, crazy, mad about football. The weather is mostly warm enough to play outside all year round, and most children don't have expensive toys and gadgets to distract them from playing footy. Rich kids wear Adidas and Nike, and poor kids wear rags. But in the beautiful game, it's only speed and skill that count. Every 2 years is the African Cup of Nations, the biggest tournament in Africa. So far, Egypt has won it more times than any other country. People all over Africa follow the tournament, but they follow other leagues too. Everyone has their favorite European clubs, where a lot of the best players are African. The end. I wonder what new things you found out. Now you can go about and tell your friends something new you've discovered. For example, you might have found out for the first time that all humans started in Africa before moving out to other parts of the planet, and that we are all Africans originally. You also know now that there are 55 countries in Africa. Now, I hope you've learned something new today, and I look forward to seeing you next time on Atinuke Tales. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.